Tony Messenger joins us. St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist and, local gadfly, local rebel. STLtoday.com, Tuesdays and Thursdays with us. Good morning, Tony Messenger.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly. How is everybody doing this fine morning?
We're doing great. And I read with quite interest about your open letter to Eric Greitens that he has never meeting with you. Now, we've had lunch. You've been on the show a million times. You're not that bad of a guy to have a conversation with.
No, I'm a pretty easy guy to get in touch with and to meet with. And I've never, it's not like there's some, unwritten rule that gubernatorial candidates have to meet with me. But as long as I've been in the state, I've never had a problem getting a gubernatorial candidate to sit down and talk to me in whatever various capacities as a reporter I've had. But the Greitens folks wouldn't make it happen. And they knew exactly what I wanted to talk about. And I just don't think they wanted to talk about it.
You did piggyback with the editorial board's meeting, though.
I did. He came in for an editorial board meeting, and I sat in on it and was able to ask him a couple of questions. And I was there when Todd Robertson, the editorial page editor, asked him a question that was following up to something he had to say, Eric Greitens had to say about stop and frisk. And he stopped and he grabbed his head and he said, "My head hurts." And then he broke into a soliloquy about how we were asking all the wrong questions. Well, he wouldn't answer any of the questions we were asking. It was fascinating. And so, as you mentioned, my open letter to him, my column on Monday, the problem that I have with Mr. Greitens is I've been advocating for ethics reform in Jefferson City for going on almost a decade now. It's probably the topic I've written about more than anything else if I go back and look over several years. And Mr. Greitens knows this. He mentioned this in the editorial board meeting. He's basing his campaign on blowing up Jefferson City. But when you ask him any specifics on ethics, particularly those that might affect him, i.e. him taking anonymous dark money, he clams up and can't talk about it. And it just frustrates the heck out of me because Jefferson City needs somebody who wants to take cleaning up the ethics seriously, and I just don't think he's serious about it. I think it's just another one of his, this is what the consultants told me I needed to talk about to win, so that's what I'm doing.
All right, Tony Messenger, let me defend Eric Greitens here for just a moment. So he gets it's $1.9 million from Seals for Truth, which is this nameless, faceless organization. And then It comes out again that it's from another nameless, faceless organization. Is it the responsibility of Eric Greitens to know where that money comes from? Or is it the organization that gave the money? Is it their right to disclose who gave him the money?
It's the candidate's responsibility if he's going to talk about ethics.
But if he doesn't know, does he have to go and research where the money came from? I mean, it isn't like he knows it and will not give out the names.
Well, except for this is where it gets even more complicated and actually makes it look less good for him. When the original donation came out and it said it was from Seals for Truth, in a couple of different interviews, Eric Greitens, when asked by reporters about, do you know where this money came from, indicated that he knew some of the SEALs that contributed. Here's the problem. It is a 501c3 type company or 501c4 that's giving money. He's not allowed to coordinate with those organizations in terms of giving money. And so he either knows or he doesn't know. And if he knows, it's a problem. If he doesn't know, it's a problem. And so he's got to be able to say as a candidate that he understands if ethics is going to be his thing, he has to be at least able to articulate, yes, I understand why this anonymous money is an issue, but it's the rules of the campaign right now, and I'm going to live by those rules, and I'm going to fix them when I get in. Chris Koster and I used to have debates over campaign finance reform because he used to be opposed to campaign finance limits, and he is now in favor of them. And one of the reasons why he argued against campaign finance limits is this exact sort of thing, the anonymous money that goes through, you know, these two or three different PACs and makes it even voters to determine who is controlling that particular candidate, in this case, a candidate for governor. What Koster's come to realize is you've got to deal with both problems. You've got to bring limits in place and have to fix the transparency laws, which in this case means getting rid of the Citizens United decision. I think if Hillary Clinton is elected president, that is likely to happen in the next Supreme Court. Then you can have transparency and limits, and that brings the democracy closer to the people.
Chris Koster, though, as you well know, was the subject of a New York Times article that ended up winning the Pulitzer Prize about how there was money funneled into his campaigns, and then surprisingly, some investigations into some Missouri companies happened to just disappear.
Yeah, this is the piece that the Times did, I think it was 2014 now, it won the Pulitzer last year. Very good piece of investigative journalism, and it is a problem for Koster. It's one of the reasons why I wanted Greitens to be more serious about campaign finance reform.
Do you think the fact that Greitens refused to release his taxes is part of this same refusing to talk to the news media, hiding behind, sorry, I'm busy campaigning? Is that a big deal to you?
It's a fairly big deal to me. Governor's races aren't exactly presidential races in which they've always released, but most gubernatorial candidates in Missouri over the last few years have released at least some level of their tax returns. So yes, it's a problem for me. It's a problem that we have it going on at both the gubernatorial and the federal level. We have these candidates in Eric Greitens and Donald Trump that believe that they are above the people, that they are above the press, that they are above the process, that they can just take their millions, buy their TV ads, and be elected governor or be elected president, and to hell with the process that vets candidates to determine their fitness for office. And so the decision to not release tax returns is in that vein. It basically says to voters, you know what? You don't have to see my tax returns. You don't have to see what my conflicts of interest are. It doesn't matter because I'm better than you. That's how I take it as a voter.
Tony Messenger, never dull when you join us. As we said, Rebel Rouser. STLtoday.com, Tuesdays and Thursdays with us. Tony, great for checking in. Have a good day. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
We'll talk to you Thursday. Thanks.
828, Big 550.